Questions and answers. With your host, Adrian Lee.
Oh, yes indeed, there are more questions than answers. Like I changed all my passwords to Kenny, and now I have Kenny logins. I love
You leave him alone.
I love
Leave him alone.
this show. Did you not meet him once?
I did.
Where was you when you met Kenny Loggins?
Spirit Lake.
Spirit Lake.
I
Was that when
took-
you was working as a bouncer?
No, that's when I was working as a professional photographer. I took pictures of him.
Was he a nice man?
Very nice man. He has to
Perfect.
meditate for 30 minutes before any performance he does.
Yes, I do that in the morning just before I put my clothes on and have a shower, just to have an ablution there. First thing in the morning. Passwords have become more complicated, haven't they?
Yes.
It now says, sorry, your password must contain a capital letter, must contain 2 numbers, a symbol, an inspiring message, a spell, a gang sign, a hieroglyph, and the blood of a virgin. Hi, America. Hello, world. My name is Adrian Lee, and I am your host. Welcome to the show, More Questions Than Answers, the only paranormal quiz show anywhere in the world. Each week, my guests and I will search the world's newspapers, websites, and TV shows just for you, to bring you the very best in paranormal talk radio entertainment and enlightenment. We will then test each other's knowledge of the week's events, of the mysterious, strange, supernatural, unusual, bizarre, and just plain weird. If you have just tuned in especially to hear the show, then I admire your taste. If you have just tuned in by accident, then I admire your luck. I am huddled under my quilt with a large flashlight and a nice cup of tea with tonight's guests, somewhere in the barren wildernesses of the Midwest Plains, with the sound of my elderly mother snoring distantly from the room next door. Each week we press our ear against the bedroom wall. Whatever my mother listens to before she goes to bed picks and pulls on her unconscious mind. What was the song she listened to tonight? Is this making good television? I think it is. Don't you want me, baby? You don't you want me? Oh.
Oh boy.
First
no.
single I ever bought. Saved up my pennies, went to Woolworths. First single I ever bought. I don't think that's a bad way to start. Christmas 1982, Human League. What was the first single you ever bought, Michelle? Would you like to share that with us?
I didn't buy it, but it was bought for me, and it was The Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr.
The Candyman can. Perfect.
I loved that song when
I bet
was
you
little.
wore it out, didn't you?
Oh,
I bet the grooves
absolutely.
disappeared in the record, did they
yeah,
not?
Yeah.
What was your first single, Miss Morris?
I don't want to tell you.
Well, it's a bit late now. I feel like we're having an evening of sharing things, of openness. Now would be a good time to come forward and tell me your first single.
It was New Kids on the Block, The Right Stuff.
Oh, God.
Wow. And yet when I think New Kids on the Block, I'm thinking a chopping block would obviously be the way to go there, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you loved them, didn't you?
I did. I saw them in concert.
Were they any good?
Ooh.
I don't know. I think I
I'm
was
amazed
14.
you saw anyone in concert in the bean fields of Minnesota.
It was in the cities.
You had to go to the cities, did you?
Yeah.
Especially to see that. So snuggle under your covers, turn out your lights, and hold on tight. The rules are very simple. Points will be awarded randomly for being interesting or for making me laugh or shiver in horror. Extra points will be available for shock and awe value. To help me control my rowdy panel of recidivists and reprobates, I will employ what I have called the inappropriate bell. An example of this would be That was a good one, wasn't it?
Very,
We wear
very
these
nice.
out.
Yes, you
People
do.
write in when we say we've worn them out, and we've gone through 6 or 7, haven't we, in the
Yep.
last 8
You have a
years?
collection.
We have a collection of broken bells. We need a bell maker
Yeah,
to repair all of the bells that we've broken over the years. I think there's one over my left shoulder
there is.
right now. The panel have no idea what's coming. I have no idea what stories they have for tonight's show, so let me introduce my guests. Firstly, the mysterious and effervescent Heather Morris. She's been a paranormal investigator for many years with her own team called Hellhound Investigations and does all of her best work in the shadows. She is now one of the leading audio and DVP experts with the International Paranormal Society and brings her knowledge and research skills to tonight's show. She's our producer and sound engineer. Heather apologizes for the coin shortage. She started a swear jar this week. Welcome to the show, Heather.
I can't fill it up until the end of the show.
I'm thinking it's one of those big whiskey bottles you get. Do you know those huge whiskey bottles? Where do people get them from? Where are those?
I have one.
Where did you get it from?
Rummage sale.
A rummage. That doesn't answer the question fully, does it?
No,
You see them in the corner of people's rooms. Huge
you can have mine.
gallon whiskey. What would I do with that?
Put money in it.
Fill it
Yeah.
full of coins. We call them swear words, of course. Heather calls them sentence enhancers.
Correct.
I also wish to introduce the mad and crazy Michelle Corrie. I love doing that, by the way.
I know.
I
love
can't
it when
shout
you do
into the
that.
mic. It blows everyone's
Mhm.
headphones. She was born and raised in Moira, Minnesota, and has a keen and avid interest in all things paranormal. Michelle heard the government is putting chips inside of people and hopes she gets Doritos.
Yes.
Welcome to the
Yes.
show, Michelle.
Thank you.
Remember, ladies, there's a fine line between a tan and looking like you've rolled in Doritos. They're mad, they're bad,
Gross.
and they are paranormal. This is season 4, episode number 10. Can you believe that? 300 episodes, but importantly, the first ever episode on MCN6 on the television.
Wow.
Where have you been for the last 8 years? What's wrong with you people? Why aren't you tuning in? This is remarkable. We'll talk about that more in a moment. I want to tell everyone at home that we currently have a watch party taking place, so you can play along. We're about to introduce a quiz on general lack of knowledge. You can play along. This is unique. I don't know many shows that do this, but we've been very successful doing this on air and when we've been on the radio. We have a watch party. People are watching the show at this very second, this very minute, very Buddhist, and they're playing along at home and answering the questions. You can play along if you go to Facebook, search for More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee, and you can pit your wits against everyone else that's listening and playing along. And we'll probably be there as well, no doubt.
I hope so.
I'm guessing we might get some of the questions right. That's how that works. So as convention dictates, we have the spinach and artichoke Martin sponsored gong of infinite knowledge with the salsa of statistics and the double dip of facts. Stand back, ladies and gentlemen. Always very impressive. Now on this day, we celebrate the birthday of Freddie Mercury.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Happy
birthday, Freddie.
Freddie
Aw.
Mercury. For an easy point, closest one will win, and you can play along at home, of course. How old would he be today if he was still alive? Closest one will win the points. I've got a
64.
score. When I'm 64.
Yeah.
There you go.
70.
You are going 70. Michelle will get the point tonight, but you are a long way short. Would you believe, and you need to brace yourself, he would be 74 today.
No way.
74.
I can't believe it.
He's older than my mother. It's remarkable. I then looked up how old he was when he died, and he died when he was 45. Now, I don't know about you. Maybe it's my way of thinking. I'm an Aries, so I think I'm young. I'm still playing with Lego, G.I. Joe, the world's one big adventure for an Aries. I'm Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, right? So I always think people are older than me. I watch the soccer players running around the soccer field on the TV, and they all seem like adults to me, and I think that they're older than me. I can't believe that Freddie Mercury died at 45, and I'm now 5 years older than him. That scrambles my brain up. My granddad and my grandmother were the same age I am now when I was born. I don't know what's going on. Time is slipping through my fingers like grains of sand. I'm assuming you're fans of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite Queen song? Would you like to tell me your favorite Queen song? What
I'm
springs to mind?
Innuendo.
Don't stop me now.
Innuendo.
The guitar part, do you know the classical Spanish guitar part of Innuendo? That was done by the guitarist of Yes, if you remember them.
Oh,
Owner of a lonely heart. I'm going to give myself a point for being quite interesting.
What?
What's your favourite song, Michelle? Can you think of one?
probably I Want to Break Free.
I Want to Break Free. That was very popular in South Africa during the apartheid era for obvious reasons, of course. The Americans didn't quite understand what was going on with the video because we have a tradition in Britain of drag and dressing up as women. It goes back to Shakespeare times, right? And we have a soap opera called Coronation Street, and they all dressed up as women from Coronation Street. And when the Americans saw them all dressed up as women, they kind of didn't think that was the way to go, so it didn't do very well in this country. I like some of the album tracks. I like Take My Breath Away. It's an album track if you get a chance to hear that. The Black Queen on Queen 2. Amazing songs. I like all that. So for the first time in the history of MQTA Radio, I cannot believe that strange, bizarre and fascinating facts about Freddie Mercury. And don't stop me now. Where was Freddie when he wrote Crazy Little Thing Called Love? To win your points tonight, that's the sole thing you have to do.
In a bathtub.
And you can play along at home. You're thinking Freddie was sat in a bathtub.
Yep.
Drinking champagne, no less. Lots of cake. What do you think? Where was that bathtub? Where do you think he was?
In a bathroom.
You can understand, ladies and gentlemen, why I've got grey hair, can't you? I never had grey hair when I started this show 8 years ago. You do realise that. You are saying he wrote Crazy Little Thing Called Love in the bath.
Yes.
Do you want to spread your chips liberally? Do you want another
Bubble
go?
bath.
You're going to bubble bath.
Oh.
There was lots of bubbles. Michelle, where was Freddie when he wrote Crazy Little Thing Called Love?
Graceland.
He was in Graceland, visiting Elvis, no
In the
less.
jungle room.
I think they may have met Elvis. I think that
Really?
may have happened. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I think that may have taken place at some point. As much as it pains me, and I have lots of clues here, and I was going to go on for some time, Heather has hit the nail on the head.
No way.
They were recording in Munich. He was in a hotel in Munich. He was sitting in the bath eating chocolate cake, would you believe?
Oh.
Awesome.
In fact, I believe he actually got a piano willed into the bathroom so he could carry on playing. But I can't help thinking at that point you need to get out and dry yourself and just get on with the creativity, don't you?
Chocolate cake.
I will give points away. Any song that would be good written in the bath. Splish Splash, Bobby Darin.
Rubber ducky.
Oh, Rubber Ducky. I'll give you a point for that. She Came Through the Bathroom Window. Ike and Tina Turner. There's points to be had there. Any other sitting in the bath theme songs you'd like to shout out?
I know my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings.
I'd like to do drawings. That's your best English accent. Everyone's Austin Powers, aren't they, in this country? Have you noticed such wonders? I'll give you a point for that as well. Bathroom Break, Janet
Tub
Jackson.
thumping.
Oh, tub thumping. I like that. There's many points going backwards and forwards right now. Mirror in the Bathroom, The Beat. Mirror in the Bathroom.
Oh, I remember
Very,
that one.
very British. Of course, if you stay in the bath for too long, you can have Little Willie by the Sweet. I was so dirty as a kid, I had to creep up on my bath water. I'll share that with you. Did you used to have a product over here called Wash and Go? Do you remember that? It's like a shampoo and conditioner all in one. They made it for kids in Britain called Go and Wash.
Go and watch.
100% true, I tell you. Now, talking of sweet, Freddie Mercury was eating cake in the bath. I'll give some points away. What kind of cake was he eating?
Chocolate.
Again, Miss Morris, winning
You
points.
said it.
You said it.
Did I really? They're the best
German
kind of
chocolate.
the best kind of clues, aren't they?
Yeah.
Look at me. Heather's happy with herself for getting something right that actually told her.
I remembered. I should
Was-
get points for that.
See, I'm just getting old and my brain
Nice.
cells are dying. Remember, life is short. Take the trip, buy the shoes, eat the cake would be my advice. Freddie had a passion for collecting what? What did he collect?
Rubber ducky.
You are suggesting he had a rubber ducky collection. Gee, it's a rubber ducky, Bert. I think little Ernie's over my shoulder as we speak
That's
here
right.
on film. You're thinking that would be quite a good collection to have.
Can you
There
imagine
are-
old ones? That'd be fun.
I bet somewhere in the world someone's collecting rubber ducks. My sister had a really good collection. She used to collect jokers from playing cards because
Huh.
no one really uses them, and the jokers are really well designed. And she used to get packs of cards at yard sales in Goodwills, and she'd just take the jokers out. She had a whole album. Do you remember those photo albums back in the day that you peeled the plastic off of and you stuck in the photograph? She had those filled with jokers, and I thought that was a really good collection. Who else would have that? You could ask people, they could post them to you, couldn't they? That would be a fantastic collection, collecting jokers from playing cards. Would you like to have another guess outside of a rubber ducky?
No rubber duckies, huh?
No rubber ducky. I'm not saying that's wrong. I just think you need to perhaps expand your horizon outside of the bathroom arena would be my advice at this stage.
Cars.
He collected cars. Difficult to do in West London, I suspect, in Kensington where he lived, on the back of the fact that there was nowhere to park. Ever tried parking in West London? Almost an impossibility. Michelle, rubber duckies and cars have been said, so that leaves you a whole cornucopia of many things to choose from.
Froggies.
He collected froggies. How about some sensible answers? What would people actually look to collect, you think? Name some boring things. What would your dad collect? What would your granddad have a collection of?
Stamps.
Miss Morris has been cheating. She's been looking at my notes.
Nice.
What?
I spent 2 minutes leaving the studio to squeeze the lemon before the show. I leave my notes on the table. I come back and all of a sudden you're on 8 points. Tell me how that works.
'Cause
He
I'm
was
brilliant.
Well, that remains to be seen. We shall see what happens at the end of the show. You can
Sure.
still snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. He was a philatelist, if we want to use the correct sayings. He collected stamps. He had such an extensive collection that they still tour today. There's still museums and exhibitions that have Freddie Mercury stamps underneath his real name, which was Farouk Balzara, of course. I was going to send Michelle something hot and sexy for her birthday, but the postman told me to take the stamp off of my bottom. I love this show. It makes me very happy. There's a lot of people sharing a lot of birthdays today. Mother Teresa would be another person who would have celebrated a birthday today. I'm throwing points away like confetti. Name the country she came from. She is from...
Yugoslavia?
Oh, you are desperately close. I almost want to give you a point.
Istanbul.
Romania.
Oh. You've got... The problem with you saying
Tasmania.
Yugoslavia is that it's a Yugoslavian... It was a country that's now...
Serbia.
Yugo.
It was Macedonia.
Macedonia.
Home of Alexander the Great and Mother Teresa. I actually flew Macedonian Airlines. I'm not making this up. I went to North Greece and Halkidiki and I flew Macedonian Airlines. The stewardesses were big women, tattoos. If there was some sort of incident, they'd be throwing me off the plane, which is what you want in case of a fire, isn't it? Or you
I
have
agree,
to disembark is what's required at that point. It's also Jesse James' birthday today.
Oh, my blood.
Why do you say that, Miss Morris?
He's in my jeans.
He is in your genes. You're related. This is a family show, madam. You are related to Jesse James, are you not?
Yeah, can't you tell?
You did your ancestry. Well, you've got a 5 o'clock shadow going on. And you look like you're about to shoot me.
It's too bad you're so far away.
I'm related through my DNA. Do you know when you do these Ancestry.com 23andMe? I got Marie Antoinette and Copernicus. She gets Jesse James. I mean, draw your own conclusions would be my advice. But he was born today in 1847 in Missouri. And the fascinating fact about him is that he's related to Heather, apparently.
Yeah.
Or
Points for
sometimes.
me.
What, for saying who you're related to?
Because I am.
You're in the lead with 8 at the moment. So
I know.
this is hedonistic, extreme points for you. I've never known such points this early on in the show. On this very day, in 1836, Texas revolutionary Sam Houston, I believe the city of Houston is named after him, was elected president of the Republic of Texas. And you know what comes next, don't you?
The Alamo.
For the very first time in the history of MQTA radio, I cannot believe that strange, bizarre and fascinating facts about Texan laws.
No.
Feeling confident?
No.
No.
You're not feeling confident?
No.
Have you been to Texas?
Yeah.
It just
Gross.
strikes me as being hot and large.
It is. It's gross.
Austin's in Texas. That's full of artists.
I like
isn't it?
Austin.
Yeah.
And the Bat Cave.
And I'm sure the coast is very nice, of course. All along the sea there.
Yeah.
Fabulous, on the Gulf of Mexico. So for the very first time in the history of MQTA, you are answering questions on Texas laws. I get the feeling there'll be some cheating, some shenanigans, and some
I
psychic
know nothing.
collective consciousness to get you the answers.
I don't know anything.
Picture the scene. It's hot, dusty, it's the summer. You've rolled onto a stranger's farm. You're not from around these parts, are you, boy? You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do this on a stranger's farm in Texas.
Whittle.
You're not allowed to whittle. No squeezing of the lemon up against the posts of the
Electric
farm.
fence posts.
Yeah, that would be bad news. I was imagining you're weeing against a tumbleweed and the tumbleweed's moving, trying to move along like a crab, trying to hit the tumbleweed as it's going along. You are suggesting, why would it be illegal to do this on a farm? Why not anywhere else? Why not in the desert, in
They
the
don't
road?
want you marking your territory.
They do not want you marking up your territory on someone else's farm.
Yeah.
You're saying having a whittle,
Having a whittle,
squeezing the lemon,
the lemon shall be squeezed.
not on a stranger's farm in Texas.
I'll do it anyway.
Michelle, you're not allowed to do this on a farm if you're a stranger in Texas.
Well, I don't think you can whistle
No whistling.
or
No whistling.
You can't whistle the theme tune to any of the Clint Eastwood cowboy films. Would be terrible. None of that. Can't be doing that. So outside of whistling, let me give you a clue. Farm is the clue. It's livestock. You're not allowed to do this to livestock.
Cattle rustling.
You're not allowed to rustle cattle anywhere. Never mind Texas.
Yeah.
You can't steal anyone's cows.
Rustling.
You can
Milk-
exchange them for
you can't-
magic beans.
can't milk the cow.
You can't brand a cow.
Michelle is 100% correct. You're not allowed to milk a stranger's cow. In Texas, if you introduce yourself first, give them a business card, the world's your oyster and you can be
Bob's your uncle.
pulling
Yeah.
away. It was one of my ambitions in life. Bearing in mind I come from East London, I never saw grass until I was 15. Horses and cows were things you saw in books, right? Let's bear that in mind. 12 million people live in London, the most densely populated capital city anywhere in Europe. I always wanted to milk a cow. I ended up going to a B&B on a dairy farm in Devon, and I said to the farmer's wife over breakfast, "Can I milk a cow?" And she said, "Sure, my husband will let you milk a cow. This is an industrial operation." Do you know what I mean? They've got sheds with thousands of cows in.
So
This
did
isn't
you
just...
hand milk it or did you throw it on a pump?
Well, we're going to get to that point. She said, go to the milking shed at 5 o'clock. You can pull udder to your,
Pull udder?
till the cows come home. To your heart's content is what was said. Trust me to get a cow that wasn't working, though. I got a milk dud.
Oh,
But no, I did go out there. I'm from London. I had a pair of Italian shoes on I bought in the King's Road. And already I'm up to my knees in cow manure and urine. So that wasn't a good start. And it was all mechanised. But he chose a cow for me that he thought would be very calm and placid. I'm guessing they have different personalities, right?
They do.
And he found me a cow, 567113. She still writes every Christmas. And he let me have a go. I thought the udders and the teats, as a Londoner, would be very soft and velvety. But they were kind of scaly and a bit like a rat's tail, really. But that's the only story I have for milking a cow.
What?
Michelle's 100% correct. She's now on 6.
Why do I have a picture of the scene from Tommy Boy where they go cow tipping? Which
Well,
is
he
one
was
of my
wearing,
favorite-
wasn't he wearing?
He was. These
Italian
were my best
shoes.
Italian shoes. They cost more than your life.
He got washed down by a hose in the gas station, didn't he?
It wasn't a hose, it was a gas pipe.
It was actually a gas pump, was it?
Yeah.
I'm sure that was water, surely. I can't believe they'd have washed themselves down in gasoline. It's okay in Dallas to tickle a stranger's cow, though, and then you can watch the milk come out of its nose. Good times. It's illegal to sell this body part in Texas. They're not allowed to sell this body part, Miss Morris.
Your brie.
You're short of money. You roll up in Dallas.
Your
you
little
think
circumcision calamari.
you're... Who would want that and for what reason? Cloning
collection.
purposes?
Yeah, weird, odd people.
Of all the body parts to come up with,
Yeah.
you pick that, do you?
Well, it's the only thing I can think of that can come off.
Well, let me give you a clue that it's male and female. You could sell this, I could sell this, we can all make money
Fingernails.
if it wasn't illegal. Well, that's a
Ears.
better answer. Ears. How would you be able to wear your glasses if your ears were missing? Do you think Van Gogh went around like this for like the rest of his life?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to staple that.
Oh, probably kidneys.
Do you know you can get them, can't you, in the department store? They're little hooks that students use on campus to hang up their posters when they start college. You could glue one of those to the side of your head
Yeah,
and rest.
a command strip.
Perfect. There you go. Works for
What?
masks as well. You leave this show with more than you arrive with.
Kidneys.
You are suggesting your kidneys a slightly more sensible answer. You do have two of them, if this helps you out in any way, shape, or
Eyes.
form. Michelle is on fire. She's moved up to 8 to tie with Heather. You're not allowed to sell an eyeball in Texas. It doesn't say you can't sell
Someone else's.
someone else's eyeball. You
No.
just
Pluck it out
can't-
of their
You
head.
just can't sell. And secondly, what are you going to do with it? Why do you need an
Marbles?
eyeball?
Well, what kind of money are we talking?
I didn't go that far because it's illegal.
Is it a private eye?
Oh. Why? Why am I here? Why am I here? It's unlike you. I like the way for the last 8 years you haven't been funny, but now we got the cameras on. You're suddenly wisecracking, and we've got Rodney Dangerfield sat in the corner.
Yeah, I get no respect.
Yeah.
Michelle called in sick all week this week to work with an eye problem. She couldn't see herself coming into work. I love this show. The entire Encyclopedia Britannica is banned in Texas because it contains a formula for making what? The entire, think of how large a collection, the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. Do you remember when people used to knock on the door and try and sell you encyclopedias?
Right?
Yes.
It contains a formula.
Yes, that encyclopedia contains a formula for making what at home, and that's enough to be banned in Texas.
Alphabet.
It's banned, the formula for the alphabet. Is it like when you go through all your impressions through A through to B?
Yeah.
Is that where we are? So the formula,
It makes the alphabet.
the alphabet's been banned, is it, in Texas?
Yeah, you've met Texans, haven't you?
Wow. I see we're losing a lot of listeners straight off. How to alienate your audience straight away. Let's pick one of the biggest states and see if we can lose some listeners there, I guess. You're suggesting this is a formula. So what formula is listed in the Encyclopedia Britannica that means
409.
it's
No.
Gravity.
Gasoline.
gasoline, the formula for gasoline? Any suggestions, Miss Morris?
Gravity, oil, Texas tea.
Texas tea.
Black gold.
I'm going to have to give you this one. Your cheating didn't get as far as my 5th page, did it, I would suggest. It has a formula for making beer, would you believe? So beer
I was going to say that, but I
is
thought that would
banned.
be...
I should give myself some points just for getting that one over you. I think beer would be banned. The formula for making beer is in the Britannia encyclopedias and is banned currently in Texas. It's illegal to do this when dusting a public building in Texas.
Dusting.
I know these are odd things for you to grasp, Michelle. This comes under the whole collection of cleaning around the house.
Dance.
Oh.
You are suggesting dance.
Yeah.
So it's illegal to do this when dusting in a public building in Texas and you're going dancing.
Correct.
So you can't have your headphones on
Yep.
and be listening to a bit of Queen.
Yep.
Oh, you're gonna take me home tonight, and you're cleaning away, minding your own business. Suddenly the Rozzers come along. You're Nick's son. You're going to do a diamond chino. No dancing.
Working 9 to
Whilst
5.
cleaning in Texas.
What a way to make a living.
Wow, you're full of it tonight, aren't you? Getting questions right, being funny, singing. There'll be a dance routine later, I should suspect. So you're suggesting you're not allowed to dance whilst cleaning a public building in Texas. Anyone want to add to that? That is not the right answer, I would.
Be naked.
You're not allowed to be naked dusting.
Ooh,
Yeah,
sounds like
it
an
is.
Olympic
The
sport.
feather duster.
And I shall give you more points. It's a feather duster. You're not allowed to use a feather duster whilst
In the
cleaning.
nude.
Well, you've
In
kind
a
of
French-made costume.
well, you are rather elaborating somewhat upon the facts that I have in front of me, so I know how your synaptic links are firing, ladies. It's not naked, but you're not allowed to use a feather duster. I can't tell you why. At some point in the dim and distant past, with the eyeball story as well, something must have happened where legislation is now dictating that shouldn't take place. So someone has tried to sell an eyeball. Someone has tried to use a feather duster, God forbid, in a public building.
So if you use a Swiffer naked, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be perfectly acceptable, and you're working within the parameters of the law. The cruel irony of housework, of course, is that people only notice you when you don't do it. There we go. That was then, but this is now as we enter our favourite part of the show. It's the mailbag. Woo, we love the mailbag. We have a lot of listeners. If you wish to write to us, we love hearing your comments of support. We love hearing what your favourite part of the show is. If you go to Facebook, More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee, you can play along at home. You can interact with all of our supporters and fans. You can play gift wars. We have a watch party. Just go to More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee. We love hearing what you've got to say. If you've got anything mean to say, obviously send those to my mother. Lisa and John, amazing friends of the show.
Lisa.
Love you guys.
Patreons, supporters of the show. Lisa has written on Facebook, what I love about MQTA is that it has helped me to relax. That's because people fall asleep when I'm reading. It's my
That's
accent.
true. Me too.
They have said that. Well, thank you. The show and fellow listeners have reminded me of so many of my favourite things whilst growing up. I've been able to be who I tried to hide for so long and not care what people think.
Good.
They will either like
Awesome.
me for who I am or not at all. That is on
Correct.
them. How
Good
cool is
job.
that? That's very kind of you, Lisa. And John in Buffalo Lake in Minnesota, thank you for that. Now, that's not all, I might add. We have a parcel. We have a package from Lisa and John.
Do
I'm
we
going to
really?
nip below the table. I'm probably going to get all my microphone and all of my headphones caught up here. Let me just nip down here.
Get it.
While we do that,
Do it.
we have... I can't pick this up. It's too large. I'm going to put the contents on the table. But needless to say,
Ooh.
it contains a lot of candy and a lot of chocolate. Unicorns. Look at this. Unicorn gummies. How
Aw.
amazing
I love it.
is that? We have one of those each.
Nice.
We have zombie balls. Obviously, they're very
I like
difficult
zombie balls.
to collect. Yes, something to do with a garden instrument and a scythe perhaps has removed those and they put those in a bag. We have chocolate.
Love the
I love
chocolate.
chocolate.
We have so much candy. This is ridiculous.
Oh my God,
We have
that's
Lin-
mine.
The Lindor.
I
We
want
have cognac. We know who that's
need
going
it.
to, don't we, straight away?
it. Yeah, me.
I wonder if you can get drunk on liqueurs.
Let's try.
Let's find out.
We have many
Do it.
wonderful
Do it
and
now.
fantastic things. I want to thank Lisa and John
Thank you.
for giving
you
us
guys
those
so much.
goodies. That's very
We love
kind
you.
of you.
Out of chocolate.
Erin, based in Minneapolis, has written, Dear
Hi,
MQTA team, since laughter truly is the best medicine, you deserve the highest praise for bringing healing to us all. What a gift this show is. Thank you for the laughter and knowledge you bring to the world. That's very
Aw,
kind of
that's
you,
so
Erin.
sweet.
We appreciate that. And we'll
thank
squeeze one more in. This is Dawn. She has written, thanks so much for the fun and frivolity each week. I love to listen to the show and forget about any problems and just
Oh, sweet.
laugh. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Awesome.
So if you wish
Thank
to write
you.
to us, we appreciate that. Now we are, for the first time, on MCN 6, but this is Series 4, Episode 10. We have 300 shows that we've done on the radio before we've got to this point. So, Miss Morris,
Yeah.
would you like to tell our listeners how they can access our shows, where they can find them if they've just found us for the very first time?
You can find us on soundcloud.com/MQTA radio. You can also find us on TuneIn, iTunes, Player FM, Stitcher. I'm trying to think of all the
All kinds of places. If you can't find us,
just come find us.
Yeah.
you've only got yourself to blame.
Digistream. We have some episodes on there. We're all good.
Well, I will say for the very first time that we're now available every Saturday night on MCN 6 from 9 o'clock to 10 p.m. Central Time. You can find us on cable channel 6 out of the Twin Cities. You can
Yeah.
find us on Roku. If you have Roku, you can search for MCN 6. And also, MCN6.org means you can then stream the show. So you can watch us on your iPad, on your TV, on your phone. If you go to MCN6.org, and as I said before, there's a watch party taking place as well. You can listen because this is a radio show. This is why I have my mic and we have our headphones on, but you can listen every Friday at 10 p.m. Central Time on digistreamglobal.com. So perhaps you can't watch, perhaps you want to listen to us in the car, or you're in the gym, you might be walking the dog, you might be cutting the grass, you might be
Yeah.
studying for your exams, but you can do that as well if you go to digistreamglobal.com. We have 100,000 listeners, would you believe, in 190 countries around the world. I couldn't name 190 countries. Miss Morris, give us the top 7 countries that listen to us anywhere in the
Oh
world
man, I gotta do work.
last week. Well, I'm sorry. You're now going to have to bring that up and have a look.
Well, number 1, as always, we have the US. Second is the UK with a bit of tea.
Wow, that's your best British accent, is it? God blimey, Mary Poppins.
Crumpet and
Crumpet.
stuff.
Do you even know what a crumpet
Fish
is?
and chips.
Bond,
What?
James Bond.
Fish and chips.
That's my mother. My mother's told all the neighbours. That's my mother and all of her friends. That's why the UK gets in at second place. That's solely down to my mother when she's not snoring from the room next door.
And then we have Canada, Ireland, Japan. We're big in Japan.
Tonight.
Switzerland and Serbia.
Oh, Switzerland.
Yeah.
That's a
Serbia.
nice place to be. The home of
Yeah.
Hey,
cookie
guys.
pox and Toblerone and
I've never seen Serbia before.
Serbia.
Yeah.
Big country. They're one of,
Is
again,
there?
we go back to Yugoslavia and all the countries breaking up after the Balkans War there. But yes, Serbia as well. So thank you for all of those countries
Thank
to
you.
tuning in. We appreciate that.
Oh.
As Miss Morris has previously mentioned, we have archives, over 300 shows. If you go to SoundCloud, search for MQTA Radio, you'll find us on there. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify. Everything is free. Spotify's Froggy When a Caught In, Skin Tag Radio, all
Brussels
of these
sprouts.
places,
Mouse Rat Radio.
Gasbox.
all there. Now, we also are taking donations. This show's free. It will always be free. We've been doing it for 8 years, but we have many expenses.
Yeah.
You've seen how much paper I'm going through. All of the equipment, the studio, and importantly, all of the platforms that we've just read out actually cost money. It costs money to put the show and to keep it on there so it doesn't fall off the end. SoundCloud and so forth costs money. So we have a site, a Patreon site. Miss Morris, would you like to discuss how our followers, watchers and listeners can access us on Patreon?
Well, as of the new TV episode, we will be putting up all the new episodes and all the videos and all the Not For Your Mother videos on Patreon. And you can reach us, I
Ooh.
believe, at MQTA Radio on Patreon. You can get never before seen episodes.
Yep,
never
episodes never been aired.
radio plays.
We did some acting. We've done some
We
fun.
have quizzes each other. We've
Yes.
done quizzes and we've done fun interviews.
Yes.
This is all very true. So you get quite a lot for your money. And Miss Morris hinted this. At the top of the hour, we stay in the studio and we do a round called Not For Your Mother, which is all the stories from around the world. When we're researching all our paranormal stories for this episode and previous episodes, we stumble across stories that we can't read out on air. They're too rude. They're full of innuendo. But at the top of the hour, we stay in the studio and we read out all the rude stories that we can't possibly read out on air because
Yeah.
we would be removed.
Yes.
So again, if you go to SoundCloud, there's an extra 20 to 25 minutes around called Not For Your Mother that's laden with vast sums of
Naughtiness.
Yeah.
naughtiness, globular, sticky amounts of
Innuendos.
innuendos. And some people say it's their best part of the show, would you believe?
I can
So
believe.
you get a little Easter egg. You have good reason to come and find us to get an extra 25 minutes of filth, is what many people have told me. We also have lots of archives on YouTube. We have funny outtakes. There's a scene where Michelle falls off her chair.
Ugh.
All kinds of fabulous things. Go to find us on YouTube as well.
It
and
was
you'll
very
see us.
funny.
I thought it was funny. I was very happy with that.
I think I hit my head.
Yes, you've never been the same since.
No.
And
We
also, I'm
can't
an
afford
author.
work comp.
Yes,
Yeah.
workman's comp. If you were getting paid, I tell you what, I'll double what you're getting paid now. How would that be? And everyone
Not
will
so
be
good.
happy. This isn't my day job, would you believe? I'm an author. So if you wish to access my books, which would pay for my gas to get home, because I haven't got any gas at the moment, you can go to Amazon, search for Adrian Lee. I write about ghosts, hauntings, Minnesota, the Midwest, how to be a Christian psychic, what the Bible says about healers, mediums, and paranormal investigators, UFOs and ghosts, connecting paranormal phenomena, and lots of fabulous books on there for you to while away. If you're away on a summer vacation, you can take that with you and read those. I cannot believe the scores. This is ridiculous. This doesn't normally happen. If you're just joining us for the first time on NCN6, normally the ladies don't get anything at all. But I'm here seeing that Michelle's reached a double integer of 10, which is quite remarkable. I've scored 3, but all's to play for. And Miss Morris has a rather large, resplendent, symmetrical bottom-heavy 8 as we enter the first round that we call Ghosts and Hauntings. And remember, we do not do orbs. Now, I'm a Celebrity Camp is spooky castle haunted by floating woman in white. Do you remember the series I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
Oh, God.
It was set in the jungle,
Yeah.
and they had celebrities eating spiders, doing nasty things, all kinds of trials.
Disgusting.
It was set in Australia. They can't do that at the moment because of COVID. So the next best thing to a jungle in Australia, apparently, is a castle in North Wales. And
Well-
this castle's haunted, and all their themes for this season's show are going to be based around ghosts and hauntings in
Really?
North Wales. And there's going to be a woman in white, apparently, that haunts the castle. Always in white. Why is there a woman in white? Where do they get that from? Is it the shroud? How does that
Probably.
even happen? You never hear of the woman in lilac, do you?
No.
Or puce?
No.
A woman in buff, I would
Green.
suggest. I'm a Celebrity Stars may be extra keen to get out of here this year, as their camp is a haunted castle. Show chiefs have paid a king's ransom to secure the sprawling and spooky-looking 200-year-old Grich Castle Folly in North Wales. The eerie ruins are said to be proud by the spectre of a previous owner,
Yeah,
the
right.
Countess of Dundonald.
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 Is he wearing the dress?
He wasn't. The floating woman in white is said to be angry that her husband stripped the castle of its valuables. A chilling photo taken there 10 years ago shows a pale, shadowy young woman on the floor in what used to be a magnificent banquet hall. That's probably a photograph of a goth on a school trip. I was a teacher for 15 years. There's always one kid sat in the corner of the room, pasty white,
Yeah.
dressed in black. That was a school trip, I'm sure of that. However, the floorboards beneath the window had rotted away, making it impossible to stand there. Producers plan to get into the spirit of things by incorporating the theme in the trials, and are even hoping to capture strange happenings on night vision cameras.
Boy.
Night vision, we know how to use it. I do know how to use it.
Jeez.
The November move to the chilly wilds of Wales is due to COVID restrictions in Australia, making it impossible to film at the usual jungle camp. A source on the ITV show said producers are chuffed with the new location. They're excited for a change in scenery this year. Obviously, up in sticks and moving to a completely new location was a tough decision, but they feel confident it's the right one. That will be terrifying, spending a night alone. In Wales, wouldn't it? I wouldn't want to spend a night alone in Wales.
Oh, boy.
Trials are set to have a medieval theme, including jousting, dungeons, and even a fake gallows. The freezing waters of the nearby Irish Sea could also be used. A source said just because it's in the UK, it doesn't mean that celebrities can breathe a sigh of relief and think they're free of snakes, rats, and frogs. Not only will there be creepy crawlies
The
galore,
frogs.
but now they have added the aid of playing with an haunted castle. They think it will make for brilliant TV. Here's a list of some of the ghosts. Spooky goings-on have included the Countess of Dundonald, who died in 1924. She materialises in the hall, apparently. Locals believe she fell out with caretaker Bill Bryce, who would lock up the library at night, only to find it open again the next morning, sometimes with items mysteriously moved around. Others say it's a ghost of a servant girl who died falling off a horse at the estate. Did servants ride horses? Is this something servants did? I didn't think that was possible. There's also the ghost of a gamekeeper that's said to stalk the grounds that include a creepy pet cemetery. Creepy lady in white. Oh, what a crock of shenanigans. You decide. Go to our Facebook site, more questions and answers with Adrian Lee, and I shall give myself a couple of points for being scary and a little bit mysterious.
That wasn't scary.
I read it with an English accent. That's
Oh,
always scary, isn't it?
jeez.
I read The Raven once at a bookshop
You
in
did.
front of a big crowd of people on Halloween.
it's on Patreon?
Because I have a scary English accent.
Yes.
It is on Patreon. If you wish to hear me read the Raven in my English accent, it's available for you if you wish to track that down. Miss Morris, you're in second place tonight. You need the points. What have you got for me in the round of ghosts and
Well,
hauntings?
guess what I got? I got
A story on ghosts and hauntings?
No, I got something that frightens you a lot.
That would either be spiders,
Nope.
my ex-wife. What are we looking at here?
God.
Heights?
No.
Wow. In fact, I'm more afraid of the floor. It's not the height that kills you, is it? It's the floor that kills you. I have a fear of floors. Let's get that out there.
Sure. The woman, or I should say the mother of a woman presumed dead, who then opened her eyes at a funeral home, says her daughter was moments from being embalmed.
Oh.
And that's when they suck out your organs.
Yeah,
Your
and you get
blood.
filled full of jelly.
You'd
Yeah.
soon wake up, wouldn't you, if someone was sucking your organs out?
I don't know if I know
They put the
it.
pipe in, starting to, purse up. Oh, I've woken up. This reminds me of when I used to be in the Navy.
What?
Well, they use
What
a
is
bilge
wrong
pump,
with
don't they, to
you?
get the water out the bottom of the ship. Wow.
Tamisha Beauchamp, 20, was found unresponsive and in cardiac arrest on Sunday morning by paramedics called to her house in Detroit, Michigan. So this happened locally. Usually you hear it in third world countries all the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
Can I just stop you there and say only in America would you say this happened locally, yet it's 1,000 miles away? In the rest
Stone's
of
throw.
in the rest
Yeah.
of the world, Michigan. In the rest of the world, something locally has happened in your county or in the next town. In America, they say this happened locally, but it was 1,000 miles away. So I'd share that with you. Never been to Michigan. In fact, I tell a lie. I had a stopover once at the airport in Detroit to get the flight to Minneapolis from London.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't do it in one go. I'm sat there waiting at the gate because they don't let you out, do they? You have to sit and wait to the connection. There was a man next to me in a safari suit with a hat on. I turned around.
Pith helmet?
Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, as I live and breathe. Yeah.
In Detroit.
In Detroit, at the airport, sitting next to me waiting for a connecting flight.
Wow.
Some people don't believe me when I tell that story.
Most people.
And then they see my face.
God dang it.
I love this show.
Oh.
It makes me very happy, but that is true.
Paramedics performed CPR and other live reviving methods. Yes, that's what they're called. Live reviving. Just slap her.
That works, does it?
Cattle
Tickle,
prod.
tickle, tickle.
Feather.
We
You know.
can't use a feather if this is Texas.
Hold
That's
their
bad.
No,
nose.
it's in Michigan.
Okay. I don't know what the laws are on using feather dusters in Michigan. I've not come prepared. I'll find out for next week. I
You
haven't done
should
the
lose
research.
some points then.
Wow.
For 30 minutes before she was declared dead at the scene. And when Tamisha's body was released back to the family after initial formalities, she was taken to a local funeral home where plans were being made to drain the young woman's blood, just like Vlad. Part of the embalming process. So the first part was sucking everything out.
Just like the Egyptians used to do. I
Yep.
couldn't do that job. Is that a job you could do?
Probably.
There was a time, Michelle, when I'd have said to you, you can't do mime. We're on the radio.
Now I can.
Now you can do whatever
Yeah.
you want. You can do as much miming as required at this point.
I already did the milking.
I saw that. I'm good to you. For all
Yeah.
those people that don't know the action of milking a cow.
Right.
Well, just so you know, they did the right thing. The family lawyer for the family, God, this is written horribly, Jeffrey Feigler, whatever,
You say Fiegler, I say Feigler.
Feigler.
Let's call the whole thing off.
said it was a frightening thought. Isn't that nice?
I want to know, the person who first wrote that song, you say potato, I say potato, when that's written, it's the same word. So imagine, you're waiting for the manuscript to come through the door. You're looking at the music. You've bought the music. You undo the envelope. You take the music out. You put it in front of your piano. You sit there. You crack your knuckles. You lift up the lid. You're about to tinkle the ivories. You read the first couple of lines. I say potato. You say potato. I say tomato. You say tomato. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Can you imagine seeing that for the first time? How's that written in a music script? Is that phonetic? That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? You'd sit there and think the person's mad. They've lost the plot. How's it possible? I have no answers. There are more questions than answers, Miss Morris.
Well, Tamisha's mom, who chose not to be named, said, I'm devastated that
Oh, here
my
we go.
daughter is going through what she's going through.
That's Michigan, is it?
Yep,
Okay.
that's where
That's
I picture
southern
all Michiganders sound
southern
like.
Michigan.
Yeah,
That's
way southern.
That's way south in Michigan.
Yep, you've seen them, haven't you?
No, I've never been
It's
outside.
Detroit. It's dead on Detroit.
Yeah, I was thinking.
That's total Kid Rock right
That's-
there.
Straight out the trailer.
If anything, that's East Side. East Side Detroit.
I
No,
don't think there's an East Side. I
East
think
Side
it's
the
Detroit.
West. No, West Side
Side.
is the best.
East side.
East Side.
My family, her twin brother, her older brother.
Y'all.
It's just, well, if it's her twin brother and her older brother, that must have been the one that came out first, right?
Maybe
Is that
she
right?
got two, a twin and
I
an
got
older.
two. I
She's-
got a lot
Yeah.
Yes.
of kids.
Yep.
I understand
Many.
that. They couldn't afford a television.
Litter. Well, it's just, I don't even have words, obviously.
We're getting away with it.
Sorry.
Keep going. We're getting away with it.
I haven't slept all night. I just don't know what to do. My heart is so heavy. Well, whatever. Tamisha, sadly, sorry, Tamisha, who has special needs, is now
Well, that
on a-
makes that less funny.
Well, it wasn't her that was talking. It was her mom and her older brother that came out first.
And her twin brother.
That's right.
I've lost track and the will to live, all in the same sentence.
Well, anyway, she's now on a ventilator at the
Oh.
Detroit hospital. Her family initially called 911 on Sunday after finding her unresponsive. The Southfield Fire Department paramedics performed CPR on her before she was declared dead, so she actually had CPR on her for a long time before they said, nope, we can't get her back. Tamisha's mom described how the medics told her, ma'am, she's gone. Before they urged them to
They're all
check
from East Side Detroit.
to be absolutely 100% sure. Hours later, somebody from the funeral home called the family to tell them she was on her way to the hospital, breathing and alive. The devastated mom said she doesn't know if Tamisha will recover from her harrowing ordeal, because she was actually put and zipped up proper in a body bag.
Toe
And-
tag.
Wow.
That's right.
You're right. I hate these stories.
I know.
There's nothing worse. The worst thing you've ever said to me is when we went through a spell of a couple of years where you started reading out stories of all the kinds of strange and bizarre things that would
Yeah.
come out of the toilet while you're sitting on it.
Octopuses,
Yes, I have to hover now.
catfish,
You should see my calf muscles and my
ooh,
hamstrings.
leeches,
It's
Squirrels.
like He-Man. Honestly, I clench now. I can't go
He-Man.
proper ablutions. Honestly, I'm like a coiled spring. I have to hover. What's popping? Tell me what part of that's popping.
That would be the octopus.
That's
Yeah.
a popping octopus. Wow.
Octopus.
That's right. Well, Dave Fornell, Deputy Commissioner of the Detroit Fire Department, said the funeral home staff, did the normal medical intervention, and that's when the funeral home told them that she was to be embalmed and all that. See,
And all
not
that?
even, and all that.
Well, that's the burial.
and all that.
And all that's the burial.
Right.
And
It-
all that jazz.
It kind of
I don't think jazz
surprised
hands at a
us.
funeral. Can you imagine there's a funeral cortege and everyone's sat there and they've got a handkerchief and it goes past slowly and you're in the background doing jazz hands.
Great. You're doing all that crap, and now what I've got going through my mind is that it's like a Jack in the Box.
Exactly.
You pop open the coffin lid, bing!
When they fly over your
The
shoulder.
crank on the
Yeah.
coffin.
It took us a day to put the spring in him.
Ding-ding-ding-ding.
That's just dark and wrong. What's
Sorry.
wrong with you
Oh,
people?
it's bad, isn't
A
it? It's
lot.
bad. We couldn't believe it.
No, I can't believe it.
It surprised us. He said Miss Beauchamp was breathing and had a decent heart rate and decent blood oxygen level. Well, isn't that special? Anyways, a spokeswoman or person from the Oakland County Chief Medical Examiner's Office said the body wasn't collected for a post-mortem due to information provided by the police about her medical history and the fact that foul play was not suspected. But you don't know. She could just pull through, but she's currently on a ventilator.
We
I hope she'll
shall
be okay.
let
Yeah,
you
me
know.
too.
I shall give you some points, Miss Morris. You're now up to a 10, and you're level with Michelle. Michelle, what have you got for me tonight
Oh,
in the round of ghosts and or hauntings?
a woman has shared a terrifying video of what appears to be a haunted doll moving of its own accord.
Bunk.
Creepy. If you are playing the Bell Bunk and Snort drinking game, if you're new to this show, we have a bell.
It's a big one.
When
Mhm.
anyone shouts out bunk and they think the story isn't true, I ring the bell, we have a drink. You can have a shot wherever you are in the world. So pros, salute, cheers. Have those on us. If Michelle snorts, there hasn't been one yet, but it could be imminent. But I thought I'd introduce you to the Bunk Snort Bell. Please carry on, Miss Corrie.
Holly Armstrong shared the creepy footage on her TikTok account, where it has since gone viral with over 1.3 million likes. In the clip, Holly films the inside of a wardrobe where a wooden doll can be seen sitting on the top shelf. She can be heard gasping, "Oh my God!" as the doll's feet begin tapping together before it appears to lift its left leg independently.
Bunk.
When did we start doing acting, by the way? When was that brought into the
We've
show?
never stopped.
I've seen
Master
things tonight
thespian.
I've never seen before in 8 years.
Whatevs.
I've seen acting, I've
Yeah.
seen dancing, I've seen mime, I've heard singing.
Yeah.
I have never seen such
We're bringing
wonders.
it.
I
Yeah.
understand that. You're
Yeah.
bringing your A game.
100%.
100%, 110.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm liking
I'm
this.
giving it 100.
I can tell. Don't strain yourself. We don't want any brain injuries, do we?
You gotta save a little.
Yeah,
Wow.
whatever.
So what is this?
Captioning the video, she wrote, 5 seconds before I jetted out of this house and threw a match behind me.
Whatever.
While Holly was able to refrain from setting the house alight, she admitted that she did immediately leave the building, which she was house-sitting for a family. The disturbing video prompted concern from her followers, but Holly was quick to reassure them with a follow-up video a few days later.
Creepy.
Speaking in the clip, she said, "What happened was I was house-sitting for a family. I was there over the weekend. I felt creepy crawlies just being upstairs by myself, and all that happened was that I left afterwards. I notified the family, and they're going to investigate it further, but I'm still kind of in shock."
It's really bunky.
It's very
It's bunky. We're using
Bunky.
nouns, are we? Well, I'm going to
Yeah.
squeeze in one story very quickly. A daughter says her father's ghostly figure appeared 10 years after he passed away while she's been taking care of her sick mother. Norma Villa had been taking care of her mother, Teresa, for 2 months while she struggled with terminal lung cancer. A legal secretary and mother of 3, Villa found comfort in talking to her father, Leandro, who died 10 years earlier. One night last year, Villa got a notification on her CCTV system that there was a presence on her porch. Photos from the system revealed a ghost-like figure sitting next to the porch swing where Villa used to sit. The incident prompted Villa's mother to say, "They're coming for me. They're coming for me," or "Don't be so silly." You can see all of tonight's stories and much, much more if you go to our Facebook site, More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee, and you can see them for yourself in glorious Technicolor. Well, all good things come to an end, so let us look at tonight's scores. In last place, in third place, is myself. I scored a rather disappointing 6.
Oh.
I get an acre of burnt grass and a popping octopus. That's good news for me. In second place tonight is Miss Morris. She has scored herself the
What?
double integer of 10. She gets a hot bubble bath, a bilge pump, and a year's supply of chocolate cake.
Oh. Bonus.
Yes, you were going to complain then. In first place, our first MCN6 episode. She's pulling it out of the bag. She's scored herself a rather impressive 12, and she's in first place. She wins a $33,000 IR camera. She gets a week in a haunted Welsh castle, a potato, and a book of sayings from Michigan. Do not fear, listener. Remember, we are back with a whole new bunch of stories next week at the same time, and I'd love for you to join me for a fun and informative journey through the world of the paranormal, strange, intriguing, bizarre, and weird. Please tell your friends and family about the show, and feel free to contact me anytime via my Facebook site, More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee, or you can join my Twitter account at Adrian_Lee_tips. My gratitude and greatest thanks are extended to Lorna Hunter, Heather Morris, Chaton Drainer, Michelle Corrie, and all of the International Paranormal Society in paranormal.net, and all of the show's sponsors, including the Lakes Area Paranormal Interest Group and MUFON of Minnesota. It just remains for me to say thank you for listening, and remember, be interested,